What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. First of all, I'm back. Let's go. We're back together for this episode, and I'm pumped about that. But in this episode, we're diving into all things print on demand branding. We're going to tell you what it is, what things you can do with it, what print on demands you can use, and all the benefits of branded products and branded packaging with print on demand. So you definitely don't want to miss that. But before we dive in, I want to ask you, if you're enjoying this podcast, just hit that subscribe button. It is the only way we can reach new listeners. We need your help to do that. So subscribe no matter what platform you are listening on. With all that out of the way, let's dive in. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. Adrian, how are you, my friend?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. I'm really happy to have you back. Anyone who's been listening to the last couple episodes, I've been riding solo, but dude, it's really good to have you back, man.
Dude, I think the solo episodes are a nice little change up. I know I enjoyed them, and so I appreciate you doing that. It's been a while, just a few, probably the last month or so. Just been pretty wild ride over here. Just been incredibly busy, and so just needed a few weeks off to kind of regroup, get myself on track. And we also had a Launch Your Brand Challenge last week. Almost 9,000 people registered for that challenge, and we're a part of that challenge. So it's just been a pretty insane kind of end of the year here. But I am looking forward to it's slowing down a little bit, but I think we got to get past Black Friday, Cyber Monday to feel it. Just the work part slow down a little bit. Obviously, the holidays are always busy, but
right.
I appreciate you holding down the fort, and I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back. Today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about, can print on demand branding make you more money? But before we jump into that, I just want to shout out one of our amazing listeners because, Carrie, I've just been echoing every episode that, if our listeners are going to show us love, we're going to show them love back. And I just love giving them some recognition because we really appreciate them always taking the time out of their busy lives to, give us a 5-star review and say all these great things. It's really motivating and inspiring for us. And it definitely helps us keep going with it. So this episode is actually kind of targeted towards you, Carrie. Did you want me to take this one?
I'd be happy to read it.
Sure.
I really appreciate these. I've seen a few come through like this, and it's really cool that people find us, through things that we do, maybe separate from the podcast, and then leave us a nice review on the podcast here with both of us. So this is from Denise C 73. Thank you so much for the review. She says, "Thank you. I first found Carrie on a Shirt School challenge." That's great because we just did one last week, so it's super cool. This was from a previous one though. "I was not able to join Shirt School, but found your podcast. I've been listening ever since, and you guys have inspired me. I now have a Shopify store with 13 shirt designs.
Let's go.
I'm still working on my store, and then I'm going to start promoting. I can't thank you guys enough. Hoping to be successful enough that I can join your coaching program." Well, Denise, I know we speak for Adrian. We say thank you, and we would love to have you. We know you're going to be so successful with your new business. Keep taking action, man. I think I would just say, Adrian, I know you too. Like, I love hearing people's wins, even if they're small.
It's the best.
Even if they're small. Like, you might feel like, oh, it's nothing. It's a big deal when you launch your store. It's a big deal when you post 13 designs. It's a big deal when you step out, take a step of faith out on social media and put yourself out there. That's a huge step for people and a huge win. And we love to celebrate you. So please leave us a review to let us know how you're doing, because we love to connect with you.
Yeah, it's oh man, these reading the reviews never gets old. Like, we're just so grateful for all of our listeners. They're the best. We have the best community ever. So without further ado, should we just jump right into this?
I think we should, man. One of the things I was just thinking about mentioning, and we will dive into the content too. I also just wanted, in talking about our community and all of our listeners, we just looked today and we're number 92 on the charts, on the entrepreneurship podcast charts. Like, we have it's just crazy that you guys are listening that much and bumping us into the top 100 entrepreneurship podcasts. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, in America, which is huge. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of podcast listeners here in America. So, man,
Yeah. I
like,
think,
dude,
what did you
that
say the
is
other day?
also so inspiring. What's that?
This was a top 2% podcast or something like that.
Top
Like,
2.5% of podcasts we've recently fallen in, which is like, again, like a pinch me. I don't even understand.
yeah.
We're here kind of offline recording, and we don't really think about people listening until we get the reviews. And we're like, oh my God, people are listening and they're really, really liking this. So we just love continuing to bring the love, bringing the value, and shouting you guys out because you're awesome.
Well, all thanks goes to the community. To you, you guys are the only you guys make it possible. So we just appreciate you. But, anyways, let's get to the content. No more delay. Adrian, we're talking about print on demand branding. I think this is a subject that a lot of people may not know that much about. They may not be using. But I also want to say this and make a bold prediction. I think this is going to be in our predictions for 2024. But I do think this is going to be a huge trend in the market in 2024, and I think it's going to grow. Print on demand branded products are going to grow even bigger in 2024. And the reason that I say that is because I am seeing print on demands add more branding options, and it seems to already be something that some print on demands are kind of scrambling to add a little bit more because it's something that we want and that customers want. And so I think this is a really important topic, and can to answer the question, it can definitely make you more money with branded
Oh,
products.
yeah.
But we're going to be covering three different things, 3 points, and I think we just dive in with what is print on demand branding, just so everybody kind of understands what we're talking about, because we're not just talking about one specific part of it, but there's different things you can do when it comes to branding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, talking about what is print on demand branding, the first thing that we're talking about is custom printed tags on apparel products. So that's, I think, the bulk of this episode. We're going to be talking most about that, but that really enables you to replace the tag or add your own, inside printed neck label, or add a tag to that, or add some kind of, special branding on the apparel product. There's actually some other ways to do this, and I'm going to just drop a teaser out there. You definitely got to keep listening until number 3 point today, because I'm going to talk about a print on demand company that offers some pretty wild branding options. So it's not just the neck label, but that is kind of the main way that most print on demands are offering that is some kind of custom neck label. The second way is specially branded packaging. Number of different ways you can do that we can talk about as we get into the third point today. And we could probably talk about a little bit more in this point, but actually doing things with the packaging can be really awesome. And then thirdly, putting inserts inside of the packages for your customers. You can do some pretty cool stuff with that. What are your thoughts on these things?
Yeah. So, in a perfect world, we would use all three of these features to differentiate our brands and create a more branded experience. Because the more you can do that, the more you can kind of lean into the brand with branded options, the more original you look, the more different you look than every other t shirt company, right? We always say it's not enough to be a t-shirt company anymore. You need to be a brand. And that's why we're so big on advocating for Shopify, because that's where brands are created. Versus Etsy, a marketplace where there's a lot of t-shirt businesses that don't have any brand name recognition. And a lot of people, when they buy on Etsy, they just say, oh, I got this shirt on Etsy. They don't really think about like which small business had the store on Etsy that they actually got it from. Right. And so of these three, in a perfect world, you would have all three. My personal favorite, however, hands down, is the custom printed tag on apparel products. So for example, an inside neck label that would be printed. And the big reason I love this one so much is because it changes, it essentially gives you more price elasticity. So the example that I like to use, because a lot of our students in our community ask us this question, and a lot of our students are actually doing inside neck labels, which I think is amazing. If you want to bump up your prices and improve your profit margins, yes, there's a cost to add the inside neck labels, but it's well worth it in my opinion. And you can easily recover that cost in the price I would say even a bit more. But the reason why I love this one is because let's say that someone orders a t-shirt for $32. To me, that's a really reasonable price for a t-shirt. Someone orders a t-shirt for $32. However, if they order a $32 t-shirt and they see a Gildan tag, all they're going to see is that it's Gildan. And if you go on Google and you just type in Gildan t-shirt, you can get blanks for probably like $9.
Oh, well,
Now,
less than that.
so less than that probably. But
does that mean it's a bad t-shirt?
No, it's not a bad t-shirt. That's the thing. I don't even think I think Gildan, the brand, the quality varies based on the actual style. They actually have some great t-shirts. However, there's a lower perceived value for Gildan because generally you pay lower costs for Gildan products. And so it almost doesn't even have to do with the quality so much. It's the perceived value. People are like, if someone sees a Gildan t-shirt and then they see a Supreme t-shirt, even if that Supreme t-shirt was a Gildan, but there was no sign of Gildan anywhere, it would have significantly higher perceived value. People would just think this is worth what it's worth, and they don't know that it's a Gildan. And the same applies for print-on-demand brands. If you have a t-shirt. So one that a lot of print-on-demand companies allow inside neck labels for is the Bella Canvas 3001 because it's so popular and it's a crowd pleaser. It's one of the best bang for your bucks in terms of t-shirts because it is nice, it is soft, it is lightweight, and it's also very reasonably priced. And so going back to the Gildan though, let's just stick with the Gildan example. So if someone buys a shirt for $32 and they see a Gildan tag, some people might be like, oh, it's a Gildan. And they have this lower perceived value of Gildan. However, let's say you remove that tag and you have your own brand's tag in there and there's nowhere, anywhere that shows them that it's a Gildan t-shirt. It's not a Gildan t-shirt anymore. It's your brand's t-shirt. It's your brand's t-shirt, and they don't have a value to tie to that. They can't go on Google and type in your brand's t-shirt and find a blank for $8, right? And so that's one reason why I love inside neck labels. If you want to have a premium lifestyle brand or if you want to charge more premium prices, this is one great way to do it. It allows you to differentiate from a lot of your competitors, but it's also just great for brand recognition because some people, they're going to buy your brand, they're going to buy your shirt off of a Facebook ad, and they're probably going to forget where they bought it. But if someone says, I love that shirt, where did you get it? Then they can just look at the back of their neck label and they can see, or because they see it, that neck label every time they put it on, it's kind of reinforcing the brand, right? And if they love it, guess what? They're going to see the brand name, they're going to go back online and they're going to buy more stuff from you. So that is why I absolutely love that one for the price elasticity. I do love the other options. However, every additional branding option usually costs money from the print on demand side, right? So it is going to affect your profit margins, meaning you either take a cut of your profit margins or you have to bump up your prices. And that's why, like I said, in a perfect world, you'd have all three. But if I could only choose one, I would choose the inside neck labels. Carrie, I'm curious to know your thoughts.
Dude, you unpacked so much there. I know I was like trying to gather my thoughts here. I think, so let me start here is one thing that's important is, one thing that's important to know is what you just said is that all these different options are going to add more cost. Mm-hmm. What I see a lot from students is I see, students I work with in Church School or 6FF or whatever. I see that oftentimes they do want to add all the things and not even just the packaging, but even something like a sleeve print or a full back print and the neck label. And they want all these options. Well, I think when we see a t-shirt that's $40, we tend to be like, ooh, why would you pay $40 for a t-shirt? But then when you're on the other side of it, like we are, and you're like, well, I want to do a custom label and I want to do a sleeve print and I want to do front and back and I want to do custom packaging. And it's like, that costs $30, like on our cost. So it's like, it starts to make more sense. You start to think of it, and then you still need that room for marketing and everything. And so it is important that even if you're working with the print on demand, that you have a ton of options to really decide what's most important to you for your brand and focus on one or two of those options to really focus in on for your customers. So that's number one. Is I would say it is an important thing to say is all these things do cost money, although they're awesome and they're tons of fun. You have to account for that in the price. And if you, yeah, we're going to get into the benefits here in a minute and kind of reiterate some of the things that you just mentioned.
Can I ask you a question about
Yes.
that? I
Yes.
want to know your opinion because this is a question that a lot of Six Figure Founder members ask us, and a lot of my T-Shirt Legends Academy members ask as well. When they're first starting out, do they go with branded options, or do they do that sort of as a next phase? What are your thoughts?
It's a great question, and I'm gonna be honest. You're kind of catching me at a point where I'm kind of changing my thought on this because
Mm,
for most of the 7 years or so that I've been selling t-shirts, I have not done custom labels. And part of that is because most of the print on demands I've worked with over the years have not had those options. And I've even told students, hey, it's not worth it in the beginning, like you're saying. And I still, for the most part, lean towards taking imperfect action and like just getting your products out there. I think I think let's say this as a phase one, I think it's important to choose a quality blank shirt. You
mhm,
know, in general, in it, not to dog on them because we just said so they do have some good shirts, but the Gildan, the Hanes, these kind of brands, even there's quite a few other brands as well, but the Gildan, the Hanes of the world, they do have a lower perceived value. And so starting with a quality blank like a Belly Canvas, a Next Level, Alternative Apparel,
mhm,
Stanley Stella, these nicer brands, even without the custom neck label, you're still going to have a little bit higher perceived value. Because again, with like a Hanes, for instance, even without Googling it, people know they can go down to Walmart and buy a pack of Hanes shirts. Now,
right.
for 788, they're not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same shirts that you're printing on, Um, but the same thing with Gildan. A lot of places sell Gildan shirts in bulk, even like Walmart's, those kind of places. You can
Mhm,
some of those places sell Gildan brands, so a lot of people are familiar with them. I think Gildan is the largest. I want to say they're the largest blank apparel. I don't know what you call it, manufacturer like in the world. It's between. I'm just got to be between them and Hanes, I think, but
mm,
because Hanes owns like a ton of different brands, and that's what's kind of funny too is like Gildan owns American Apparel, so it's like if you use an American Apparel shirt, it's actually a Gildan shirt, but it has a higher perceived value. It's so funny. And Hanes is the same way. Hanes owns a ton of brands that we love,
mhm,
um, that we like. But uh, so I think I would lean towards, if just getting started. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to get started. I do think it's a good option as a phase two.
mhm,
That being said, there are lots of people I work with that are like, no, I want the highest quality brand. And if
mhm,
that's something that's important to you, it is becoming easier and easier to do that with print on demand. And so there's kind of not a huge reason not to, unless you just don't feel comfortable selling at higher prices, or that's not important to you. Cause I think there's some people, the branding element of it is just not going to be important to their brand,
mhm.
right? They're not setting out to have $35, $40 t-shirt brand or apparel brand. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of am in the same boat. So when I first started out, I did well over $1 million in sales before I moved over to branded neck labels.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I wanted to get, maybe I overdid it, but I wanted to get proof of concept. I want to be really, really sure of my
100%.
brand, my niche, my products, make a ton of sales. And I don't think now I wouldn't recommend waiting that long. I would
Mhm.
say get the proof of concept, make sales, prove that you can make sales in your niche. And then at any point in time, as a phase two, kind of like you said, implement the neck labels. The only reason why, in some cases, I wouldn't say implement neck labels right away is because it's pretty common for people to pivot in the print on demand space, right? I pivoted.
Yep,
My
I have
first
too.
brand was an epic failure and I never made a single sale. And it would have been a shame if I put extra time into learning how to do inside neck labels and then took the extra time to add those neck labels on every single product, right?
Yep.
Only to pivot and go into something completely different. So what I would say is I would say choose good blanks like a Bella Canvas 3001 and start with those, make sales, and then when you are ready to go all in, like when you're at that point that you're like, this is what I want to do, I know there's potential here, I'm making sales, things are rolling, then as a phase two, you implement the inside neck labels and then you bump up your prices. That's
You
exactly what we
said,
did when we added our inside neck labels. We bumped up our prices right
yeah.
along with it.
Yeah,
Carrie,
I
you're
think
going to say?
I was going to say as a phase two, I think that you can promote that as a benefit to your customers. Like, hey, we've increased the quality of our products and the branding, and we've
Mhm.
added these different things. And it's not like something you should hide behind the scenes and just change the prices or whatever. Like promote that as a huge new thing. But one other thing I did want to mention, just mention it. There might be discussion around it, but is that it might be news to some people. I think most people know this, but it might be news to some people that, some of your I would say probably 90-95% of your favorite brands, like they're using blank t-shirts that are sourced from these huge companies that they have just replaced the label, like the Supremes, like
Yeah.
the rumor is those are just Gildans. I mean,
Really? That's the rumor?
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's proven, but I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying like Supreme is not manufacturing their own t-shirts. I mean, these are blanks. And this is the only example that's coming to my head, so I want to use it. But back a few years ago when the Kanye West merchandise was huge, that one is confirmed because he was selling it at his shows, and it was literally just a Gildan. It was just a Gildan t-shirt, with his stuff on it at his shows. But like that's very common. You go to concerts, you go to things like that, or even your favorite brands. Like most of them are using blank t-shirts. I'm not saying they're all Gildans. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like that as far as streetwear goes, like that's kind of the style is that Gildan heavy cotton boxy fit. And so a lot of streetwear brands do start with a Gildan blank.
Yeah.
So it's
I've
not,
got
and I
another
say that, what I say
example.
that to say is like, no matter how big of a brand you are, it's not like you're growing cotton yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that
Right.
it doesn't happen. So you
Right.
got to use a blank, you
Yeah,
know?
a lot of them do use these. And one example, I don't so this is another one that this is just a theory of mine. So one of my favorite brands is Spiritual Gangster, which
Mhm.
does a ton of online sales. They're a premium like lifestyle brand and their t-shirts probably go for like $50 or something. And I bought quite a bit of Spiritual Gangster shirts and what's funny is I bought a Spiritual Gangster t-shirt and I ordered a blank from Printful of the Bella Canvas the 3413. So that's the tri-blend Bella Canvas. It's kind of like a level up from the 3001. So the 3001 is the most popular Bella Canvas t-shirt. It's great, it's soft, it's lightweight. But if you want to level up, like if you want a bit more premium feel, then the Bella Canvas 3413 tri-blend tee is a level up. But I ordered a blank from them and I bought a shirt from Spiritual Gangster, and I swear they're the identical T-shirt. I
Mhm.
swear, like that one that I paid way more for from Spiritual Gangster. I'm pretty sure is just the Bella Canvas. I don't have any evidence. All I have is this side by side to look, feel,
Yeah.
fit, everything. It feels just like the Bella Canvas 3413. So yeah, it's true. A lot of these companies, why would they go out and have all these things manufactured when they can get really competitive prices from a manufacturer?
Yeah, and so I just Googled it. I was just curious. Like I just Googled what T-shirt blank does Supreme use,
Mhm.
which nothing's confirmed, right? Because they
Right.
brand it. Because they brand it, it's like you
Right.
don't know for sure. But the comments, people are commenting like pretty certain. Like somebody said it's Gildan Hammer Tees. I guess that's a type.
What?
And some people are saying they changed early on. Like early on they were using Gildans. They changed at some point to Rupa Knitting Mills is who makes the hoodies. Some people saying they used American Apparel before they got acquired by Gildan. Some people saying independent trading company. So it's like, again, they are using a blank. Now, where they're sourcing that from, I don't know. It could be gilded, it could be whatever, but that's the reality. The point I'm making is most of our favorite brands are just using a blank t-shirt.
Right.
They're not actually having it cut and sew for a
Right.
t-shirt. There's no reason to do that for a t-shirt. So anyways,
Yeah.
let's move on. We've been stuck here for a while. Let's move on to number 2. And I really want to talk about the benefits of print-on-demand branding. So it's kind of the second part of this. And I think this is where we'll spend a good amount of time. The first benefit, and I love to just stop and have a quick conversation around these. The first benefit, we talked about a lot of them, but you can charge more and make more profit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have slightly higher print costs because you're going to be printing in, a neck label or whatever. But overall, you can charge significantly more, meaning you will have more profit margin. So what I mean is that perceived value is much higher than the cost that it will cost you to actually have the neck label printed or do some kind of printing option. So, um, yeah, you can charge more money. Any thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on that?
No, I mean, again, it's the price elasticity,
Yeah.
right? All of a sudden, what's a commodity, i.e., a Gildan t-shirt, is no longer a commodity
It's a great
because
way
you
of
are your
explaining it.
own standalone brand.
It's a great way of explaining it. The second benefit is you create a better experience for your customer.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is talking about all the different kinds of branding, right? Custom tags or custom, things on the apparel, branded packaging or inserts in the packaging. I recently bought a pickleball paddle from this company called Bread and Butter. And they're a smaller company, but they're kind of getting bigger because they make this one paddle that all the really good pickleball players want to use. So I bought one. So I get this package and it's this box that kind of opens, you open the flap and it's all right there. And it's a custom branded box, Bread and Butter all over it. Super cool design. You open it up. The back of the box is printed stuff on there. They've got your paddles sitting in, it's not in like a plastic bag. It's like, let me finish this. I'll tell you another experience I had, but it's sitting in all this, that kind of papery, like packaging stuff. And then it's got like a card, thanking you. And they put their stickers in there. They give you like 2 stickers. They give you a koozie in there. And it's like this like
Man.
whole experience. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just keep thinking like the paddle's all right. Like it's not my favorite paddle that I've used, but I like the paddle's all right. But like I keep wanting to go buy more stuff from them because the experience was so good. And just by contrast, I bought a new paddle the other day from another company. I'm not going to mention this company, but they're like one of the biggest paddle companies. And it literally just came in a box and it wasn't in packaging or anything. Like it was in a box, but I opened the box, just regular box, and it was literally just like off the hook. And it had this little like plastic thing surrounding it. And I was just like, this paddle costs almost double what the Bread and Butter paddle cost.
Wow.
And the paddle's great, but it was just that experience did something in my brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when you create a better experience for your customer, they're going to just enjoy that. That's going to be memorable, and they're going to compare that to other places they've shopped, and it's going to make them want to come back, even if the product maybe isn't their favorite product. Like having that experience is can go a long way. And especially getting repeat buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another benefit on here related to that, but I'll kind of leave it there. What are your thoughts on that? Just the
Yeah.
experience.
I mean, the customer experience is huge. I think you said it pretty well. It's important. And one nice thing about something like branded packaging is if you do offer branded packaging, it's more likely that someone's going to record a video of them unboxing or kind of
Yes.
gifting your package. You could even work with influencers and ask them to do an unboxing with your branded packaging. And that's just going to it's going to be more attractive to people watching and looking and seeing that more branded experience. It shows that you have an eye for your brand has an eye for the details. So
I think Apple really are the first ones that kind of
the
perfected it,
best. Yeah.
this may be common knowledge, but I worked in cell phones for like 15 years or something. I don't know how long it was, 12 years, something like that. I worked in cell phones, and when the iPhone came out, I worked in cell phones when the iPhone came out. That's how old I am. 2007. When the iPhone came out, and then every iPhone that came after that, I was selling them in cell phone stores, and we used to get so annoyed because we would set up the phones for the customers when they would buy them, and when we
Mm-hmm.
had to open the box, You probably know that when you open your iPhone box, you pull it and the top won't come off. You have to
Mm.
let it fall out slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And I found
Mm-hmm.
out later that was Apple did that on purpose, because when
God,
they wanted you, when you open the iPhone box, for it to just go
that's
real
awesome.
slow and then
That's
like
high
reveal the
design.
iPhone, right? And we used to sit there like, just come on. That box it would only come off super slow. And then they had the like the perfectly placed plastic wrap around your iPhone.
Mm.
So you would peel it off real slowly and it would go all the way around the iPhone. And it was just like this, like, and then you open another phone, it was just complete junk box, but like the iPhone was just like, whoa. You know what I mean?
It is, man.
Anyway.
Even like the paper is higher quality. It's like
Yep.
that thicker matte. Like the whole experience
Yeah.
is so good. It feels like you're opening a Christmas gift every time you're opening an Apple product. I
Yeah.
think they do one of the best jobs of the branded kind of customer
And
experience.
you get the little Apple stickers and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. And they've trimmed that down, like not giving you chargers. Come on, Apple. But I get it. I get it. Um, okay. Third benefit of print on demand branding: your brand and products will have a higher perceived value. So we really touched on this, but
Hmm.
your brand on a t-shirt as opposed to Gildan or Hanes has a much higher perceived value. So people will just think it's a higher value product, and people will be willing to pay more for your brand's t-shirt as opposed to, a mass market or just printed, regular Hanes, whatever brand t-shirt. So anything there?
100%. No,
We talked about that
well
good.
said. Yeah, we already beat that one, but that was, I totally agree.
Last benefit I have here is customers will be more likely to share it with others. So that you just mentioned that. I love it. I
Hmm.
didn't even think about the posting on social media. I was really just thinking about, people want to share it with their friends and tell their friends about it. And but man, that's such a great point that not only will they be more likely to share the unboxing experience on social media, but it's a great way to get influencers to promote your product, is they can show off that unboxing experience. So that's a huge benefit, because I think word of mouth I think it will always be probably the most powerful form of marketing,
Yeah,
because, if you, as somebody that I trust, as a friend, tells me to go buy something, I'm going to take that advice way above anything else, like an ad or
right.
anywhere else that I would hear about it when somebody that I trust tells me about it. So having a custom branded experience and having custom branded products is going to make people way more likely to tell their friends to go check it out. And
Agreed.
usually when you sell to somebody, your ideal customer is all their friends and family, because
Right,
a lot of times
right.
they're going to be similar to those people, right?
Right. If you're into fitness, you probably hang out with a bunch of other
Yep,
people into fitness. I
exactly.
know like most of my friends are at my gym. That's how I
Yep,
met them. And most of my friends are really into fitness too. And so like we all identify with that idea, with that target audience.
yep. So those are the benefits of print on demand. This last one I'm excited about. The last point here of the day, we want to give you 3 print on demand companies you can use for branding. These are going to be kind of from the larger end down to a little bit smaller, a little bit, I guess I should say less well known, I guess. But 3 different print on demand companies you can use for branding. I'll kick it off with one of my favorite print on demand companies. You guys probably know all about them, but it's Gelato, Gelato. So Gelato has more recently started offering more branded options, and they have lots more things coming down the pike. So I'm very excited about that. So first of all, apparel products. So many of the Gelato apparel products will allow you to print inside the neck, do a custom label in there. So that's really
Mhm.
cool. They also offer sleeve printing, back printing on most of their blanks, which is really cool. And then they do have custom inserts as well as custom outside labels on most of their wall art category. So, if you're selling wall art, which is one of the things that Gelato really like specializes in,
Mhm.
you can stick an insert in there. That could be a thank you card. That could be a discount, for your customer. And you can also do a label on the outside that would have something like, your logo there on the outside to kind of brand that box that the wall art comes in. So a lot of different options. Last thing I would say about Gelato is that they have told me that they are rolling out more of these options like pretty quickly. So very, very soon. I know they've got a lot of new products coming out. They're launching embroidery, I think, this week. I don't know about when you're listening. It might already be out when you're listening to this, but they just launched embroidery and some different things. So they're moving very quickly with a lot of new features and new options. And I know branding is one of the things that they're expanding pretty rapidly throughout the next few months, and I'm sure into the next year.
Yeah, I mean, yes, get on that train.
Yeah.
So many print on demand sellers want this. They want to differentiate. They want to stand out from t-shirt companies, and they want to create a legit brand. And this is one of the best ways you can do it. So if, for those people that are looking to do this, make sure you choose a print on demand company that actually offers this. And this is actually something that a lot of our students have actually switched print on demand providers because they start with one that doesn't offer it. And then they really want to offer it. They want to kind of elevate their brand. And so they do make a switch. Just before we go to the second one, I wanted to share one other benefit of branded products that I think is so big. And I think it's really overlooked. I don't think many people think about this or talk about it, but this is really, really big. And that is proof of authenticity. Because let's be honest, man, when you come out with a winning design, it's only a matter of time before you get swarmed with copycats. It happens to us, it happens to our students, it happens to everybody. Like, I almost think it's like a badge of honor. It's like, oh, you're doing well when you have copycats. But I don't like it. I wish people didn't do it. But there's a lot of unethical people in the space because it's a pretty low barrier to entry. And there's a lot of people out there that literally all they do is steal people's designs and sell them on Etsy or on a Shopify store somewhere else, right? But when you have your inside neck label in there and you're showing it on the mock-ups on your products, and when people are sharing the product and you can see that it's a branded inside neck label, guess what? If they see that same design and it has a Gildan neck label or something like that, they're going to know that's not the same brand because maybe the first time they saw it, it was actually from a real brand that had an inside neck label printed. So this is kind of a great way to differentiate from the copycats and make yours look more original. Now, there are some copycats that will go that extra mile and even steal your logo and put it in the neck label. I've had it happen. However, it's way less common, way, way, way less common. Like 1 in 10 maybe or less are willing to go that extra mile and actually steal your logo and put it on. They'll just put nothing there.
Well, part of the reason is because they want to like maximize the profit, right? They're not going to go the extra mile to make sure that they, make it look authentic. Like, and that's the same thing with any fake counterfeit goods. Like they make it low quality so they can they're not going to go the extra mile to make it really good. They just want to sell it.
Yeah, a lot of times they might put the logo there in the mock-ups, but then there's nothing. There's just a Gildan neck label when someone buys it, So people, I think that is something that's overlooked that is very helpful for your own branding.
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. And I'd love it if, so just getting back to the 3 print on demand companies that we would, 3 options you could use. First one was Gelato. I'd love for you to cover the second one. Yeah. 'Cause I know you're pretty familiar with them, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that. And they have a lot of options.
Oh, these guys are the goats. Like they are the goats of branded options. I think we're both in agreement that there's not one size fits all in terms of print on demand companies. It really depends on what you're going for, what you value. Some people, they want certain products that aren't offered by a lot of print on demand companies. So they need to go somewhere that offers those. Some want a lot of branding options, so they need to choose one. And this one is generally when people say, I really want to elevate my brand. In a lot of cases, this is the company that I recommend, and that is Printful. So they are the original gangsta when it comes to branded options. Like they offer inside neck labels, they offer custom inserts, they offer, I believe they offer gift wrapping as well. And they have a huge catalog of products that you can actually print custom labels in. It's not even just shirts. Like their leggings, you can put your own branded label. Their leggings are cut and sew. They're created in their own factories. So there's no brand on there. It's not like a Gildan legging, right? And so they actually let you put your logo on the inside of the leggings. So it's not just the shirts alone. But I think that these guys have the best options for branding right now. Maybe that'll change, but right now I think they have the best branding options. And for most people, for our students, when they say, I really want to elevate, I really want to like lean in to branding and really focus on creating a brand, especially if you're going for that premium lifestyle brand, these are the guys I recommend because they keep expanding their catalog of products that you can put inside neck labels on. And one thing that maybe we actually didn't explain, but is important for people to know is there's no print on demand company that I've ever seen that allows you to put custom neck labels on everything. Usually it's like a fraction of their catalog, a fraction of the products that you can print on demand, you can actually put custom neck labels in. And a lot of them, like Printful, Printify, Gelato probably has this too, has sorting where you can sort by inside neck labels. And I like that because if you're trying to create a brand and you want all your products to be branded, then why are you even looking at the ones that you can't put the inside neck labels in, right? It narrows down, it makes it easier for you on deciding which blanks to use too. But Printful is so good at this and they just keep expanding it to other products. So if you are really wanting to lean into the branding, this is usually, I would have to learn a little bit more about your brand and what kind of products you want to sell and stuff, but this is usually where I would recommend people go.
Yeah, a few of the things that they offer, just to kind of list those out. So custom packaging designs.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually have to send in your own. This is a little bit different. So they will actually warehouse the packaging. So if you have like a custom bag that you want it in or something like that, you can send those in bulk, and then they'll actually ship your items in that. They do branded inserts, so flyers, coupons, business cards, stickers, postcards, thank you cards, and then they also do custom inside neck labels, and they will do sizing, which is pretty wild. I was looking on there, having the actual size on there. So some won't do that. So yeah, that's awesome. I have one more here. This might kind of blow your mind, Adrian, but they even have more options than Printful. It's pretty wild.
Really?
Well, they're just different. It's just different.
Okay.
But the third print on demand I want to mention is called Applique. It's APLIIQ, Applique. And the reason I brought this one up, as I was putting together the notes, I was like, I got to talk about them because the reason I brought it up is because I think they want to position themselves in the print on demand world as the go-to print on demand for like high quality branded stuff, like these real premium kind of stuff. Like that's what they specialize in. Whereas I wouldn't say that Printful or Gelato or any of these bigger companies really specialize in it. It's just a feature of what they offer. They offer so many different things, but Applique is like, no, we're going to be the high end like product, print on demand. And so, the one disclaimer I would throw out there with Applique is it's not for everyone. I mean, the pricing is going to be interesting depending on what you want to do. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of additional things added on. And in my experience, which I to be honest, I have not done this. I've not tested them out in a number of years. So I don't want to say too much, but at the time that I tested them a long time ago, the software and the experience was not great from the print on demand seller side. But they are kind of that next level for branding. They have a wide range of different branding options because this is what they specialize in. So they offer things like woven labels,
that's different.
Branded labels. They do the neck prints, but then they'll also do like patches, which is really cool. And they will do hem labels. So a couple of years ago, Applique sent me, and you can see this on my YouTube channel. If you search Applique on YouTube, my video will probably come up. But they sent me a hoodie, a camo hoodie that was kind of showing off all the different things that they could do. It was really cool because like on the bottom of the hoodie, they put a woven, or I guess it's a hem label, is sewn to the bottom, and it had my logo on it, like on the bottom of the shirt, which is really cool.
That's cool.
And then they did the custom tag, and they did some different things, which was pretty cool. And so when I went on their website before this, I was pretty shocked at the cool stuff that they have. I mean, they have a lot. They also do custom packaging. They do product finishing. I thought this was really cool. They call it product finishing, but have you ever walked into a clothing store, and the apparel or the t-shirts have like a little hanger tag on them, like maybe a cardboard tag that kind of hangs off of it. So they'll do stuff like that. Like if you want
That's
to do something
really
really
cool.
unique. And they also do package inserts as well. So we talked about that, where you can do flyers or coupons, business cards, different things like that. Appleek will also do those pack-ins. They also do things like, they'll sew a pocket on a t-shirt. Like you could
What?
create a pocket tee if you wanted to have a custom
That's
pocket. Like
awesome.
it's pretty wild, but that's kind of their thing, right? So
Yeah.
it's definitely, if you're like, man, I want to create the highest quality brand. I don't care what it costs. I'll charge $80 for t-shirt, like whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you might want to, because there are people like that where you're just like, I want the highest quality thing. I know I have students like that in my programs, and
Mhm.
Appleek might be one to check out. It might be one to give a shout to. So definitely go check
Yeah.
them out.
Yeah, I don't know. So I've heard about Applique for years, but I
Mhm.
don't know much about them. I've never vouched for them because I've never actually seen the quality for myself. And for some reason, I just don't hear many people using them.
I agree. I totally agree.
They're just like maybe they're an unsung hero, or maybe their quality is trash. I have no
Maybe
clue.
so.
I don't know why more people don't use them, but I mean, those are pretty awesome branding features, especially the product finishing. So we do product finishing for our locally printed products
Mm.
that we have shipped to our warehouse and fulfilled through Rakuten Super Logistics. So we do a hybrid model right now where it's some print on demand, and then our best sellers we print locally and we embroider locally, and we always get them to finishing. Like we have the thick paper branded tags with our logo and everything.
Nice.
But I've never seen a print on demand offer this. So we only offer it on our, pre-made products. Everything that we have fulfilled through print on demand, we don't offer because we didn't think it was an option.
They also have one of the larger selections of like eco-friendly products,
That's cool.
which is pretty cool. So it's just kind of their thing, like, which I
Yeah.
think is great. I think a lot of print on demands have a little bit of a specialty, right? Like we talked
Hmm.
about gelato. Gelato really does amazing things with wall art. I mean, you can just,
Hmm.
and so Applique is one of those that kind of, this is what they do. Like this is what they do. I will agree with you though, and let me say, I was speaking for me. None of these are necessarily a recommendation. I think they're companies you can check
Right.
out, but I'm not making a recommendation for Applique. But I do
Yeah.
think that if this is something you're really into, they're definitely a company you should at least try and maybe order some samples.
Yeah. 100%. Why not? Why not compare it to like a Printful and see how the quality stacks up?
Yeah.
Like we said before, usually the recommendation is based on what the seller wants to do. So we usually will recommend based on what someone says they're looking to do. I'm very intrigued by Applique now. Like I'm curious to know their quality. I would love to see what the brand, like a finished product, looks like
Mhm.
with the finishing, with the inside neck label, all that stuff. That would be pretty cool. And I'm just really curious why more people aren't using them, because we have a lot of students who are doing inside neck labels
I
and are
think
doing some branded stuff.
if I had to guess, it's literally just the software experience is pretty hard to navigate. And it's,
Mm.
yeah, that was my experience. It's just like, if I'm going to go start up a print on demand brand from scratch, like
Mm.
it's one of the more difficult ones. And part of that is probably because they have so many flipping options. Like I know at the time it was really hard for me to like figure out, okay, what actually is the price going to be of this product if I do all these different things, like it,
Yeah.
because they have so many options, it makes it a little more confusing. So, but hey, if you can navigate it, or maybe they've got somebody there that can kind of walk you through it, you know,
Yeah.
maybe that's an option, but
If
it's a good
anyone
episode,
is
man.
listening to the YouTube recording of this episode, I want to hear in the comments if you've used them or
Yes.
what your thoughts are, what the quality is like. I would love for you guys to like blow up the comments in our YouTube videos and just let us know what your thoughts are if you've used Applique or if you've even like seen the quality. I'm
Mhm.
very interested.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's one more that I want to mention because this
Do
one
it.
just came out. Like, dude, you're right, man. Everyone's like trying to get on this train now. And
2024, baby.
it's
Get ready for that
2024.
trends episode coming out.
Yes, 2024 is going to be like the year of the brands, like brand revival, because
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people have been selling t-shirts on marketplaces like Etsy for a long time, which is awesome. We love Etsy as a complementary sales channel, not as a primary platform, because it's a marketplace and you can get your account terminated really easily. And they can change the algorithm anytime. There's a lot of things working against you there, even though it's awesome to make complementary sales. However, so many people have been focusing on kind of that area and neglecting the brand. And it's the brand, in my opinion, that creates the long-lasting nature. So it's the brand that people get around. It's a brand that people get excited about. And it's a brand that people keep coming back for because they had such a good experience, right? So this company really recently announced inside neck labels. And I was just like, hell yes. Like, we need all the popular print-on-demand companies to get on this train, because not all of our students are using the same print-on-demand. And it's unfortunate when they're really happy with a print-on-demand company, but they don't offer what they need, and they feel obligated to make that switch. It can be time consuming. Like, you can usually make the switch in a weekend, but it can be quite a few hours to make the switch, and it's not always super smooth. So we would recommend making the switch if it makes sense for you, but in a perfect world, the print-on-demand provider that you select will just offer that. So that company that I'm talking about, without further ado, is Printify. So Printify recently announced branded neck labels, and I was so happy to see this, because Printify is hands down one of the most popular print-on-demand companies out there. They have a massive catalog, over 900 products now. They have super competitive pricing. And this is something that they were lacking, that they were always lacking. And we have a lot of students that use them and are happy with them. But when they come to us and say, hey, we really want to elevate our brand and start introducing branded products, we have to essentially tell them either stick with Printify and keep going like you're going and you can't do it, or make a switch to a company like Printful. And so to be able to say now, you do not have to switch providers, you do not have to switch print-on-demand companies, that's huge. That's huge. And the pricing is really competitive too. So for branded neck labels, the price, they start at 55 cents. Now, I forget off the top of my head what Printful is, but I think it's like $2.50, $3.50, $3, somewhere around that range.
Oh,
it's a lot more. It's a lot more expensive. And you know what? Competition is amazing because it helps us as sellers. It makes companies lower their prices, come out with cooler options. They're all stepping up their game. Just this last year, Printful lowered their prices. Gelato lowered their prices. I think Printify also lowered their prices. Because there's competition. This is an amazing thing. I love that there's competition. And that's probably why Printify came out with the branded neck labels, because my guess is that they were getting a lot of feedback from coaches like me and like you, who are telling them, people are leaving your platform because they want to create brands and you don't give them that option right now. So I was so pumped when I heard this, because so many of our students do use and like them. And that was one of the only reasons why they were switching away from them. So I wanted to give them a shout out too. That's kind of all the big ones. The big three that I can vouch for are Printify, Printful, and Gelato. I don't know anything about Applique. Hopefully they're awesome.
It's just a wild card we threw in there.
Yeah, it's a wild card. I can't vouch for them because I don't know the quality. I don't have any students using them right now, but I would love to know people's thoughts on them. But those big three now all offer it. And I'm pretty sure that Printful for a long time was the soul of the big three, the one of the big three that was offering branded options. And they were probably getting a ton of sellers because of that. They also have they lean into the eco-friendly products too. You can sort by eco-friendly products. So kind of like Applique, those were their differentiators. Branded options. I mean, they have a number of differentiators, but two big ones were branded options and eco-friendly products. And it's just nice to see all these companies elevating. It's better for us as sellers. Everybody wins.
Definitely. Man, this is a good episode. I think that about wraps it up. We appreciate you listening today. And there's nothing else. I think we'll see you in the next episode.
That was a lot of fun. Stay awesome, guys. Talk soon.
See ya.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please help us out and leave us an honest review on whichever platform you are listening from. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate all the reviews. Thank you so much in advance, and we'll talk to you really soon.